Greetings, Michael. Thank you for allowing this communication to take place this evening of your time between our respective civilizations. I am Kayel, here once more to communicate with you on any matter of interest that you have on your mind. Now, is there anything new, so to speak, that has come up in the past day of your time as you create time to exist? Gaze. You can understand that you need not enter into the channeling state in order to draw certain information from our end or from perhaps any other entity. You can simply use and trust your imagination and whatever thought forms you seem to get seemingly out of nowhere pop into your head. If you think of a question and an answer pops into your head, perhaps it is a question which has recently popped up with regards to one of your past channeling sessions, or perhaps it is a question with regards to a certain event, a certain circumstance which has happened in your life recently that you have a desire to receive an answer to. You can understand that sometimes that answer comes to you through the means of your higher self letting you know what the answer is. Sometimes it is messages coming through from our end or another entity's end. Understand that at this moment, due to the fact that you have engaged in this channeling endeavor, more so, that you are now acting as somewhat of a hub for not only other entities, but also your past and future incarnations are now able to connect with you through this lifetime. Due to your increased excitement in this area, in this pursuit, you are now making, you have always had these connections, but you are now solidifying and opening up the possibility of the connections to widen, and for more information to flow, and for more interaction with the connections that you already have in your waking state, in your waking reality, so to speak. Now, you can understand that this is also why in the past, so to speak, when you channeled a Zeta being, you also at the same time got a message from a Arcturian, as from your perspective, let us phrase it this way. The Arcturian, at that moment when you initiated a open invitation to any great being, the Arcturian, knowing that you did not know exactly what Arcturians were or what Arcturians looked like, saw that as an opportunity, seeing as how Arcturians have some similarities to the Greys in terms of physical appearance, to interject himself into the invitation. Do understand that there are many entities listening in on these conversations, and thus then any chance that they have to interject, to slip their foot in the door, so to speak, they will, provided that it is in integrity and they feel that it is, welcome from your end, and also that the entity that you are wishing to speak with does not mind either. Thus, then, you can understand that when you open up the opportunity for other entities to connect with you, you may get, for lack of better wording, a rush of varying consciousness, pushing their way in, as on your society, people would be pushing their way into a subway, a crowded subway. That idea is somewhat taking place on another level. So, that was the reason for the confusion, which you have since co-fused into an understanding that you made a connection, a simultaneous connection with two entities, two differing degrees. You had a Zeta one moment, One moment. We are respecting the physical channel's desire to shift so that he can be more comfortable in his seating. Are you ready? Okay. Now, where were we? We were saying that you had established connections with not only the Zeta but also the Arcturian beings, and that you can understand that these two entities have a very close relationship with you. We will not comment too much more on this idea, as we sense that this is something you can explore yourself. Now, having said this, anything else that we can elaborate on with regards to this idea or any other? Okay, for the purposes of the recording, for anyone who may be listening in, the physical channel initiated a desire to connect with a Zeta being, an Orion being, and the call was answered. However, there was some confusion due to the fact that this being seemed to be expressing the idea of unconditional love, some degree of emotionality. This, in a sense, confused the channel as to if the transmission was actually accurate, was actually real. Of course, anything that comes through, if you trust it, if you allow it, is real on some level. However, from the physical channel's perspective, when he gained some sort of conscious awareness of what was going on, questioned the transmission, no judgment. However, this resulted in him wondering how then he could be communicating with a gray being which has some degree of emotionality, some degree of feeling of the unconditional love sensation. Now, we have explained this on another tape, so to speak, how the gray could have experienced this to some degree and expressed it to some degree, to the degree that he was capable of expressing it. However, at the same time, what was actually happening was that another entity was expressing the idea of unconditional love, and that was that Arcturian energy that was being picked up on. Thus then, the physical channel can understand that he was communicating with two entities, two separate entities, which he interpreted as one. Thus then, the confusion. Now that this idea has been sorted out and settled and cleaned up, is there anything else that we can discuss this evening of your time? We understand that perhaps those listening in may wish, okay, well, let us state for the recording that the physical channel has been made aware that certain people listening in may have a desire to interact with our energies in a more one-on-one fashion, such that they can ask certain questions that they have on their minds and have them answered on our end. This is something that the physical channel will have to consider. If it is something that he is excited in pursuing, we are more than happy to answer any questions that come through on your end. It is our pleasure. The physical channel is somewhat, new to this idea of channeling, this exploration, and he is moving forward at his own pace, so to speak, at his own, comfort level. And we understand that he has, even though he has shared this publicly on the internet, that has, from his perspective, a degree of anonymity which allows for him to more easily express himself in this way. He has not, in person, expressed his abilities to channel with anyone that he personally knows. And as such, for him to engage in any kind of one-on-one with anyone in his close physical proximity. It would be something that he would have to stretch outside of his comfort zone. And we simply respect the channel's desire to explore this idea in his own timing. If that idea becomes something that he is willing to explore to a greater degree, then we will be more than willing, more than happy to engage in this more interactive way, in this more intimate way with those who are listening in. All right? We hope that this has addressed this idea to those who are listening in. Now, is there anything else that we can communicate with you on this evening? One moment, while the physical channel scans, do understand that the physical channel, when he initiates these types of interactions with us, does not always have very many, or sometimes none at all. None, that is to say, no questions at all on his end to ask of us. And thus then, the physical channel must confer with himself, so to speak, and come up with any further questionings to progress the communication. Of course, the physical channel can also make statements which can progress the interaction, or he can request that we share something on our end. That is always a possibility. And yes, it is true that if the physical channel opens up to the possibility of questions and answers from other individuals, that this then will more readily fill these silences such that the information can be more free-flowing and more fluid and more, well, let us say, the physical channel can pull, so to speak, our energies through more readily when, okay, he doesn't have to pop in now and then. And, well, in a sense, although from our perspective it is not disruptive, he can allow himself to remain in the background more, so to speak, and by just simply paying attention to the questionings that are being posed to him, be more dispersed. Have his consciousness be more dispersed and be more of a fluid, more of a clear, transparent translation device, translation medium between our consciousness and the questions that are posed. However, both work, both are valid, both are perfect in their own way. Now, having explained all this, what now does the physical channel wish to do? We will wait in a holding pattern. Do you wish to wrap this up, so to speak, in a neat little package? Or do you wish for the communication to continue? We do understand that sometimes the physical channel wishes for these interactions to be succinct, such that he can package them up, so to speak, into a media format, which he can thus then share with those who are listening in on the internet. One moment. Simply relax. Allow any questionings to pop forth into your consciousness. With regards to that idea, you know what the next steps are. Also, we will say this will be of value to others listening in. If you ever feel that you are stuck in any idea, any exploration, if you feel like you don't know what to do next with regards to some idea, with regards to some situation, some circumstance, some blockage, understand that you have everything in your possession, within you, to break through, so to speak, this blockage, this barricade. You always have exactly what you need to move forward. You can, first of all, there is one idea, which is to reference the preferential you at any given moment. And when we say this, we mean referential being that you can reference this you at any given moment, at any given timing. And understand that this is your preferential you. This is what, from your mind's eye, your imagination is the you that you wish yourself to be. You can see him or her as the you that you wish to embody at any given moment. The you wish to be at any given moment. The you that lives life without, shall we say, with ease, flowing, fluid, moving through life effortlessly, manifesting that which is desired in the fastest, shall we say, way, in the most joyous way. If you simply reference this you in your imagination, simply visualize what that you would do in this circumstance, in this situation, with these props that you have available to you. What would they do? How would they think? How would they act? How would they speak? What would their tonality be? How would they stand? How would they feel? Simply ask yourself these questions, and in the asking of these questions, you will get a sense of how this you, this preferential you would behave, would act, would move through life. And if you simply imagine and feel and embody that you in your mind's eye, at that moment that you feel the most connected to that idea and most excited about that you, and how that you is living their life, and how that you is handling this precise situation that you are in now. When you feel that tinge, it could be a tinge, it could be a full-blown explosion of joy. When you imagine this you, whatever comes through emotionally, understand that that emotion is the key to unlocking this you. And in the moment that you feel overwhelmed by the energy of this you can understand that timing, you are that you. In that moment, you are that you. It is that simple. In the moment that you embody that feeling, embody that you, feel that you are that you. You are that you. And you need only act as that you from that moment forward, with the presumption that that is you. Simply, it need not be complicated. It can be that simple. Simply embody the you that you wish yourself to be, and act as that you would act. And the next steps in your life with regards to any blockage, any challenge, will be clear to you. You will be able to move effortlessly. The next steps in that sense, once you perform this idea, this exercise, would then be to take action, to cement that idea in your physical reality, as action is what cements thought forms, ideas, desires into place, and thus then allows a new set of props to come into your focus that you can thus then act on. And then when you act on that, you will find new things pop up, and then you can act on that. It is as if, you are crossing a river, and certain turtles are surfacing and allowing their shells to be stepped on. And when you step on that one shell, perhaps another turtle pops up ahead and allows you to use his shoulder, his back, to step on. And then you can move, you can understand, you can move from one stepping stone to the next stepping stone, and before you know it, you have crossed the river. You are on the other side to where it is that you always wished to be. And you can understand that if you simply proceed in your life in this way, you will move from moment to moment to moment to moment effortlessly. It need not be a struggle. It need not be a strain on you. Alright? Thank you. We do hope that this idea, this sharing, has been a benefit to you and to anyone listening in on the other end. We do hope that this can act as somewhat of a substitute for the back and forth of questions and answerings which may take place at a future date if the channel wishes to engage in such activity. We will leave that up to him, but for now, we hope that this has been a benefit to you. We thank you, and we will simply say thank you to the physical channel for allowing this communication, this sharing on both ends to take place. We do cherish, we do relish any interaction that we have with him, and understand that even though there may not be a group of people listening in, asking questions on this end, on your end, there is a multitude of entities who are listening in on our end and contributing and having a back and forth, so to speak, on some level with the physical channel. So, having said all this, we will simply say, once again, we thank you for being bold enough to be open to this kind of interaction with us, with our society. And we simply say to you, good evening, and we will have another discussion at another now moment. Good evening and pleasant dreams. We will have future interactions this night of your time, if you wish.